Welcome to Kindness Stories, the place where true stories come alive to remind us that kindness, courage, and standing up for what's right can change lives forever. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an inspiring tale. Now, let's get into today's story. Maria was always the quiet girl in school. She sat at the back of the class, kept her head down, and spoke only when spoken to. No one really knew her, and that's exactly how she liked it. She had transferred from another country just last year, and adjusting hadn't been easy. She missed her family, her friends back home, and the familiar streets of her old neighborhood. Here, everything felt so different. The language, the people, the food. But Maria was determined to make it work. She believed if she stayed out of trouble, no one would bother her. She was wrong. The trouble began with a group of students who loved to pick on those who seemed different. They were led by a boy named Tyler. Tyler was big, loud, and always surrounded by his crew. He liked to act tough, especially in front of the younger students. To him, Maria was an easy target. She was quiet, had an accent, and ate food from home that smelled different from what everyone else brought. Tyler loved to point that out. One day during lunch, Maria was sitting alone at a corner table. She opened her lunchbox and carefully unwrapped the meal her mother had packed for her that morning. It was a dish from her culture, warm and fragrant, reminding her of home. She closed her eyes for a moment, trying to feel a bit closer to her family. That's when she heard the laughter. Tyler and his gang approached her table. They didn't sit down. They just stood there, blocking her light, towering over her. Tyler wrinkled his nose and said, "What is that smell? Gross. Are you trying to stink up the whole cafeteria?" Maria kept her eyes on her food. She tried to ignore them, hoping they would get bored and walk away. But they didn't. One of Tyler's friends, a girl named Lexi, picked up Maria's lunchbox and sniffed it dramatically. What is this stuff? Looks like someone threw up in here, she said, tossing the lunch back on the table so hard that some of the food spilled out. The cafeteria was buzzing with whispers. Some kids laughed. Others looked away. Pretending not to see, Maria felt her cheeks burn, but she refused to cry. She started to gather up her food as best she could, but Tyler wasn't done yet. He grabbed a leftover sandwich from another table, unwrapped it, and dropped it on top of her meal. "Here, have something normal to eat for once. Maybe then you won't smell like that." Maria's hands trembled. She pushed the sandwich aside and wiped the spilled food with a napkin. Tyler leaned in closer. "What's wrong? Too good for our food, or can't you handle normal American stuff?" His friend snickered. At that moment, something inside Maria snapped. She looked up at Tyler, her eyes sharp and steady. "Why do you care what I eat?" she asked softly. Her voice, though quiet, made Tyler pause. He hadn't expected her to speak back. "You should try minding your own business." The cafeteria fell silent. No one had ever talked to Tyler like that. His smirk faded for a second, replaced by a flicker of confusion. But then he laughed, loud and fake. "Did you hear that? The little mouse has a mouth." He shoved her shoulder lightly, testing her. Maria didn't flinch. "Leave me alone," she said again, but Tyler didn't listen. He nudged her lunch off the table. The container fell, food splattering on the floor. A chorus of gasps rippled through the room. Maria stood up. She felt her heart pounding in her chest, her hands clenching at her sides. "You going to cry now?" Tyler taunted. "Go on. Cry. Maybe if you cry, we'll leave you alone." Maria looked around. The other students were watching, but no one was moving. The teachers were nowhere in sight. She realized then that if she didn't stand up for herself now, it would never stop. She took a deep breath and said in a calm, clear voice, "I won't cry, but you're going to wish you hadn't done that." Tyler laughed. "Yeah, what are you going to do?" Maria didn't answer. She moved so fast that no one saw it coming. She had learned self-defense from her older brother back home, just in case. She grabbed Tyler's wrist as he reached out to push her again, twisted it just so. It flipped him onto the lunch table behind her. There was a loud thud as Tyler's back hit the table. The whole cafeteria gasped. The table shook under his weight. His friend stood frozen, eyes wide. Tyler lay there, groaning, too stunned to get up. Maria didn't wait. She grabbed her bag, stepped over the spilled food, and walked out of the cafeteria without another word. For a moment, no one moved. Then whispers erupted. Someone had filmed the whole thing. Within minutes, the video was everywhere. Maria found a quiet spot outside, under a tree. She sat down, her hands still shaking. She didn't like violence. She didn't like being the center of attention, but she knew she had done what she had to do. For the first time since she'd moved here, she felt strong. The next day at school, everyone looked at Maria differently, some with respect, some with fear, but mostly with curiosity. Tyler didn't come near her, neither did his friends. In fact, they avoided her completely. She heard that Tyler got detention and a warning from the principal. He couldn't believe he'd been beaten by the quiet girl. Maria's story spread beyond her school. Parents called the principal demanding to know why bullying was happening under their noses. Teachers started paying more attention during lunch. Some students who had been bullied before found the courage to speak up. They saw that if Maria could stand up for herself, maybe they could too. One day, a girl named Hannah approached Maria in the hallway. She had been one of the students who always sat alone, too afraid to talk to anyone. She smiled shyly and said, "Thank you for what you did. I used to sit alone too, but now I feel like I can eat in the cafeteria without being scared." Maria smiled back. It was the first real smile she had shared with someone at school. They sat together that day, and soon more students joined them, one by one. The tables that had once been empty started to fill with laughter and conversation. Over time, Maria became known not just as the quiet girl, but as the girl who showed everyone that standing up for yourself can change everything. She never looked for trouble, but she also never let anyone walk over her again, and she made sure no one else had to eat alone if they didn't want to. Maria's mother noticed the change too. At home, Maria talked more about her day. She made friends. She joined a club for international students, helping others like her feel welcome. She even taught a few self-defense moves to her new friends, just in case. One afternoon, while she was helping a younger student learn to defend herself, Maria realized something important. Sometimes kindness means being gentle and quiet. Other times, it means standing tall and fighting back when someone tries to hurt you. It means protecting yourself and others, even when it's scary. Maria's story reminds us that true kindness isn't about letting people treat you badly. It's about respecting yourself enough to say, "No more," and when you do, you inspire others to do the same. So the next time you see someone being bullied, remember Maria. Remember that courage can come from the quietest places. And remember that one act of bravery can ripple through an entire school, an entire community, changing it for the better. Thank you for watching Kindness Stories. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs a little courage today. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more true stories that inspire. Until next time, keep being kind and keep standing up for what's right.